Well, welcome back to the Long Dark. We're here in the. Let's take a look around real quick. We're here in the little train yard on your way to the airport. Uh, for those of you who don't follow the Long Dark very much, this is the first game I've played since the last patch came out. The patch being the one that adds the mines. So part of me is considering taking a brief trip to the mines on the way. I should see if I have any firewood or anything left. I do not. I can always try to break something down. But it seems like we can't break down the benches. There's a door. Maybe we have something in here we can break down. The chair. And a little bit of reclaimed wood. And we'll use up some of these cardboard matches. Don't want to use up the birch bark. Now, making birch bark tea, I don't know if I'd be doing that ever in a survival situation. In this game, the birch bark tea is way too damn useful to waste all your birch bark on starting fires.
That did it.
So we'll get ourselves a decent fire going. We'll heat up some stew. We'll get some water going. I don't have all that much left in it. But we can warm it up. I just don't have a lot of... Let's go back. What do I have in my food right now? Well, what do I have that I can put on the heat? Not much, actually. I left behind all my flour, and I still have oats, but I don't have a pot right now. What I will probably do is throw down some coffee in a little bit. Let's eat something here. Now, one new thing they did add, which, let's see if it maybe you don't actually keep track of it, and think I have to start a new game to keep track of that, but there doesn't seem to be anything keeping track of scurvy, because on the newer games, if you start it, it'll have a little thing here indicating how much vitamin C you get out of it, and I should have a scurvy counter here someplace. You know what? I'll sleep for an hour. I have one minute left. 20 minutes left. All right, let's see. Do I have... You know what? I'll cook a cup of coffee there. I'll place a cup of coffee there. I'll have plenty of coffee. I'll be hydrated. I am not thirsty. Fine. I still have an extra cup of coffee. Now I just wish I could find a thermos, but I just went through here, so I don't have anything like that. Okay, I'm out front. We'll take a quick look at the coal. We'll take a quick look at the mine. And then we'll head to the airport. I know I've been playing it more or less as something I'd be doing if I'm trying to maintain survival, but because the mine just came out and I'm right here, I'm gonna go and let you guys
Looks
see
like
it.
I made it through another
Even
night.
though,
Wonder if this is any good to eat.
even though I really wouldn't in a survival situation. Of course, at the same time, yep, I can go out there. It's pretty dark. I do also like that it now kind of represents what you're actually wearing on your hands, so I can actually see that. Oh, hey, whetstone. I could use one. You can usually use one of those. Torch. I don't need any other wood at the moment. It's too bad you can't actually use ladders. That would be nice. Oh, I should look in the crafting. And they have the travois. Let's see, we need a workbench. 4 maple saplings. Oh boy. Everything else not that bad, but there are times you can't even find 1 maple sapling, let alone 4.
I think I can use this.
Bring that along. And that. Just in case I need to make a good fire. Which is generally quite often. Well, now let's go see what the mine looks like. I forgot to check. It does not seem to be anything in the back. I'll open the hood. While being able to open the hood and find a battery is good at times, right now it's really something I don't need. Now, there are parts of the Long Dark where you do have access to a reloading bench. You can find the gunpowder. You can get scrap lead from batteries. That is something I wouldn't recommend doing in real life. There is lead in car batteries, but it's been so covered with acid, you really would have to do a lot to, prep it so that you could use it without, making even more and more horrible toxic fumes when you smelt it down. Now, melting down lead isn't exactly all that hard. Me and my dad did it on our stove at home when I was a kid. And there was a Pinewood Derby. For those of you who didn't deal with that particular piece of, I don't know if it's just Americana. It's very much an American thing where you take a block of pine wood and you basically turn it into a car. But in Pinewood Derby, one of the things you have to do is make sure you have a significant amount of weight on it. It has to weigh within so much, and the easiest way to do it is to drill a shallow hole in the bottom of your Pinewood car and angle it a bit so that it's not just a straight hole, and then put some melted lead in there. Let it dry up, and you're pretty much set. And then that should be enough to weigh the car down to its correct weight. Huh. I mean, there's no maps of this place yet. I think I still got some charcoal. Let's see what we got around here. Rose hips, Oldsman beard. And we've got... Oh, that's right. You know what? I just remembered. I don't have a lot of ammo. And I don't know if I'm going to find any here. I mean, there's a lot of buildings, so there's a good chance I would. But I'm going to change my mind and go, I'm going to remain safe. If I had a full magazine and some extra ammo, that might be a different story. But I do want to finish the actual thing I set out to do, which is get to the airport. Now, it's interesting because there's a definite kind of bounce between being bold and, you know, being very conservative in what you're doing that comes up when you're doing when you're surviving. Because generally speaking, you cannot sit still when you're trying to survive. Even if you're in a base camp that is really well set up, you still need to go out and do things. You need to find food. You need to, make sure you gather water. You need to make sure that you're paying attention to your health. You have to do all these things. You also generally have to try to stock ahead. I have a book that talks about the birth of civilization, and what's the first thing in the birth of civilization? It's caloric surplus, meaning that whatever your group does, you create more calories than you expend in a day. Because otherwise, you have to spend all your energy just trying to get calories. So, you have to kind of have that same caloric surplus when you're surviving if you're going to try to stay stationary. Because sooner or later, something's going to happen. Out here, you're thinking, well, what happens when a blizzard comes in? You can't go out for a couple of days to forage. You can't go out to hunt. So you need food already there. You can't, there's a lot of things you can and can't do in these games that are... Oh, switch back. And in some games, you simply don't have the ability to do certain things that you'd really want to do. If you ever take down a moose in this game, you get like 50 kilos of meat. Now, 50 kilos of meat off of a moose, that is like a month and a half's worth of eating at least. But the way the game is with the breakdown of food, it's going to break down a lot faster than that, unless you take certain advantages. And sometimes you want to just go, hello, Mr. Rabbit. Okay. Woohoo! Got some good shooting on my part.
That'll come in handy.
Now, doing something like that. Okay, I see a rabbit. You also need to take advantage of things. You know, if I go through here, no. This is the one thing I actually do dislike about the game. It's how little you can traverse over uneven terrain. And when I mean how little, I mean I was basically tripping on what would essentially be a 6-inch high paving stone. I know, there are some things that you can't, that are easier or harder to get past. I think I am supposed to go that way. So what did I miss? Did I just not try hard enough to get over those rocks? Because that looks like the right way. No, let's... You know what? No, I cannot go that way. So now I gotta figure out, see, like this. This, I just step over. That is the biggest complaint I'll always have about this game. It's like, wait, I should just be able to step over this. I shouldn't have to, like, go around it. So this is not the way. So now I get to keep looking. Since I've never actually been in this zone, I will have to keep looking. Perhaps there's another road I'm missing. No, that's not the way either. I didn't even have any shovel with me. And I shouldn't have thrown that. We'll head back and we'll see where the road takes us. Ah, that would be why it didn't work. That's probably the right road to follow. Does this mean there's another zone coming up out there? Will be a different path into the airport eventually? Now, using a flare like this as a light source is probably not your first or best idea. Flares are meant to be seen at a long distance, so they do give you plenty of light, but it kind of washes out stuff, especially the colored ones. But if you don't have anything else, or you need to be seen at a long distance, they're probably your best bet. In the game, once you start finding a bunch of them, you're tempted to do it. Also, whenever you think there's going to be wolves or something similar around, it's the same thing. The flares work a whole lot better at keeping them at bay. I'm pretty sure you can actually just throw a torch at a regular wolf and scare it off. I wouldn't in real life. I'd keep it in front of me, use it more like the tip of a sword. Just, haha, stay back, haha, stay back. If dealing with wild animal, because most of them really don't want to deal with fire. I don't see anything. We shall continue. Now, one other thing, if you are in great emergency and you need to light a fire and you have a flare, that's also a really acceptable thing to do. But when you're dealing with something like that, it's really kind of a last resort. You don't really want to use that unless you're really up the Brown Creek without a paddle. Because these things are a very, very, precious resource when you're talking about something like that. The road flooded. Maybe. How did it switch over to a river so quickly? We were on a road to begin with. Was the road up to the trailhead on it? This is supposed to be... Huh. Okay, Mr. Rabbit.
Feels like a lot of gear.
Not gear. Food and water. Let's see a few things here. Do like the MREs. Let's see, what else can we get here? We'll eat one of the energy bars. And we'll drink another soda. I'm going to have to make sure I have enough sticks and feathers. Make a few more fire-hardened arrows for hunting small game. Yeah, using something like the rifle or even the pistol that this game has to hunt something like a rabbit or a ptarmigan is kind of overkill. The rifle, I mean, it's a 303, battle cartridge. It's about the same as a 30-06, which is deer hunting ammo.
Never would have thought to look here.
And then you'd have the revolver, which, given that a good shot from it will stop a wolf, I want to say it's closer to a 357. But even if it's a 38, a 38 is going to do a lot to something as small as a rabbit or a ptarmigan. The reason why I think it's a 38 or 357, first off, the size of the revolver, it's distinctly built bigger than like a small 32, 25, or 22 revolver. It's definitely a centerfire, so it's not a 22. And the cartridges are significant enough that I'm again thinking,
This gear's starting to slow me
38.
down.
And in the U.S. and in North America, really, the 38 revolver is probably one of the most common types of revolvers. So you're going to find a lot of things that are chambered in, well, quick fact, you can chamber a 357 Magnum revolver. You can load 38 rounds in it. Do not do this the other way around, because a 38 revolver is not strong enough to load the 357 rounds in. But if you fire 357 out of it, you can fit 38 in it. I have a lever action that is designed to fire 357 cartridges. And I load 38 in it when I go to the range, because 38 is a lot cheaper than the 357. Wow, I've just been walking, taking the wrong road to begin with. Made me take a little bit longer. But I'm still going. Yeah, these things are big. These little roads like this, there aren't too many of these kind of roads that you're going to find usually, even in the United States and Canada, where you're still going through the wilds. If you're dealing with, mountainous terrain, generally the idea is you cut it along the side. You've got one side that's a cliff face, the other side's a straight drop off. Kind of more like what you got once you get out here. I'm going to assume that was once a natural canyon, and they just went, oh look, it's a natural canyon. We're going to use this so we don't have to cut a road all the way up and all the way down the other side of these mountains. And now we're at the point where we get to do the lookout bit. Oh, and we get to see where the road collapsed. Now, the terrain really doesn't change throughout the Long Dark. It just keeps getting colder and colder. This place really, it's far enough south that it wouldn't actually be like this year round. So we know something's wrong. But some things, they're not gonna collapse really easily. Like these roads, well, maybe. Depends on how old they are. If they get enough snow, if they get enough erosion, it could happen. But it seems like it happens awfully quickly once everything breaks. Because if you start in the like here, you'd come up trying to leave even on day one, and it already had been caved in, even though that was a active airport, and they would have kept this road at least somewhat drivable, because they're pretty much one of the only ways to get things on into here, and one of the only ways to get out. I'd also expect, if everybody tried to leave once the power went out, find more bodies, more cars, more lots of things along this path because everybody would be trying to get to the airport. However, now that I think about it, well, yeah, even if they were following the railroad like I did, because there isn't an actual road system leading to the airport, I'd still have the same thing. You'd still see lots of people along that railroad, along the roads, if it was that bad. But that's kind of a realism thing. Also, it would make starting up on anywhere along the path where there's roads and railroads, it'd make it a whole lot easier at the beginning of the game because you'd just be like, oh look, there's 27 bodies in this section of road. I'm going to go through them all. And even if, the system has decided that, 90% of the stuff you're going to find there is, you're not going to find stuff on 90%. You're still going to find enough that would be a significant upgrade. Nothing in the trunk. Fisherman's sweater. I just got the gloves. Okay. I wonder, do I have... I do not have any crow feathers. I need to listen for some crows so I can make some more arrows. Yeah, I know in this game you can hunt larger things like wolves, deer, and even moose and bear with the bow you make with the survival bows. I wouldn't be trying that in real life. Even with a modern compound bow, I probably wouldn't try for the moose and the bear. With a modern bow and hunting head, I'd probably feel, well, if I was a better shot, I'd feel safe enough about it using that on either the wolf or a deer. But yeah, I think that even as a good shot, I'd probably just make the bear or moose angry. And in all honesty, making the moose angry is probably more dangerous. If you shoot a bear from far enough away, it might just be like, ow, I need to go away. But moose are mean, man. And I believe, don't quote me on this, but I'm pretty sure that moose actually account for more deaths in the U.S. than bears, even though you're not going to find moose in a lot of places. Yet another rabbit. I can hunt it, but I'm already loaded down. I've already got a couple rabbits I'm going to need to scan. Once I find someplace I can stop, either a cave, or I can start a fire, or there. Yeah, signs of civilization. Road signs. Again, finding your way around. If you actually find a trail marker or a road sign, use it. That's what it's there for. I was actually watching another YouTuber who plays games like this, and he's like, "Oh, I need to get to this place," and you watch him come up to a fork in the road and go not the way he said he wanted to go because he didn't bother or didn't see the sign. I'm not going to give out the name. I mean, it could just be that he wanted to keep adventuring and looking around, but at the same time, if you're trying to get someplace, you should be trying to get someplace. Now, I kind of went against that when I decided to try for the mines, but then I'm looking at the amount of battery. Part of the reason I'm opening these things up and checking the battery is to remind me that, oh yes, I have been here.
Wonder if this is any good to eat.
Games like this, there are times that, oh, hey, the Polaroid. Forsaken Airfield Vista. It's back the other way. I really don't feel like backtracking right now. And let's see. Did I hear ptarmigan? I guess not. Although, it could be I heard them back this way. There are ptarmigan, they're not close. Let's go inside. We got tools, which I don't need right now. We got a plastic container.
Food or?
Yeah, it's food. Some of the questions, sometimes the questions seem kind of silly. Let's see, what do we got in here? We got, lockers. Lockers are always good. Lockers are usually good. And the lockers are sometimes good, apparently. You'd think with 3 lockers I'd find at least one thing there. Oh, well, there's a Summit Soda. That's good. I don't need another recycled can. I could use some more condensed milk. Okay. Inventory time. I seem to be set up pretty well. I don't need that. I probably don't need 3 sewing kits. I can probably take care of one of them simply by repairing stuff. Let's see, cost to harvest. We'll use the hunting knife. We'll get the meat. We'll get it all off of there. Might as well. Oh no, that's interesting. They've added some actually pretty good animation in there. Given that these things need to be cooked, I'll probably go outside. If I had a skill book, I'd probably go outside to read it. Right now I have those and those which need to cure. Now, to cure them takes a whole lot longer than the time you have in here. It's the same with the
If I don't rest soon, I'm gonna faint.
as I was saying, it'd be the same with with the wood that they use for making the bow, the maple saplings. Now, simply because it wouldn't actually work very well doesn't mean that you can't use it, but it's going to be kind of a problem. Let's see if this thing is good enough to block some wind. It's not. At the same time, we'll start the fire.
Come on. Come on. That didn't work.
You know what? Accelerant. We don't care. We want a fire to start. There. That's better. We'll put the skillet down. We'll start with big chunks of rabbit. Down here, we'll put the small chunks of rabbit. So the small chunks will cook really fast. And cook some more water. Eat some more. Drink. Oh, I got it. Almost 2 liters worth of water. We'll cook the other thing of fresh rabbit. You know what? Let's just see if we can make this thing last most of the night. Actually, no. No, let's not. We'll save it for in the morning. We'll do some more cooking before we go and be back on our way. We'll cook up a few things that could keep us warm. At the very least, we'll make some coffee. And let me see, we can do some repairs. Let's see, what in our clothing needs repairs the most? The hat. Which will also lighten our load a bit. Let's see, the decent wool ear flaps. Might as well. Anything over 90% I'm really not worried about right now. I don't need that much leather. The only thing that uses leather here right now is those insulated boots. I have these, which I can't actually cook right now because I was dumb and forgot my pot. I'll drink that down. Don't have any other things. I'll drop that now. Not going to need it. I've got two full whetstones. We'll be fine there. Got tools. I got some arrowheads. Well, I got a couple arrows. I can't really make any more yet. Bandages. That's a lot of coal. I'll drop some tomorrow. Yeah, I'm tired, so I'm not I'm not up to moving a whole lot of weight right now. So in the meantime, let's kill a little more time.
So tired.
Before I go to sleep. I should have made some tea. I mean, it takes 10, 20, 30, 40 minutes to 40 minutes with a sharpening stone, and that thing should be razor sharp. You shouldn't have to do any more work on it. I'm sorry, unless you have no idea what you're doing, or you're trying to use a whetstone to take like a full-on, to shave down a full-on burr. You're not going to be taking this long. If you had a full-on burr, you wouldn't use a sharpening stone anyway. You'd use a file. Which would be, you'd probably have to use your simple tools. Because I would hope there'd be a file in there. Okay, now it's dark. Go to here, go over to here, bed. Sleep till the morning. Oh, I didn't finish that one last time.
I'd eat snow if the hypothermia wouldn't kill me.
Yeah, the hypothermia would kill you, as a matter of fact. But that's pretty much the only reason you wouldn't drink snow. You wouldn't use snow to be your water directly. However, with this game, and you basically just going, hey, I'm going to I'm gonna just melt down some snow. That's perfectly fine. Could take the charcoal. Let's start a fire. Now, I do like the fact that you have a fire starting skill in this game. I'll tell you something. I know people who could start fires really easily. I know people who have problems lighting a fire, even with
Turned out pretty well.
even with accelerant and a bunch of dry fuel. I also know a few people who don't understand the concept of using dry fuel. Oh, hey, that's interesting. There's more snow here today because one of the cooking spots is covered. That does not always happen. So let's get some coffee going. We will drink the coffee. We'll do some birch bark tea. We will drink that. We'll pick that up. We'll eat that. And now let's see how we are as far as weight. 37 over 35. That's not too bad. I don't have any coal anymore. I still have the rifle with 4 shots. I'm pretty well set. Otherwise, let's see. What do I have in here? I don't need all of that. I can drop some of that. I can keep those. I use those for acorns. I haven't prepped them yet, but that would be good. I've got a few painkillers left. I've got bandages. Got a few sticks. I'll probably have to be on the lookout for a few more sticks. Now, one of the things they actually have listed, for medical supplies, you have those emergency stims. Yeah, that's kind of, I don't know how well that actually worked, because, I mean, when you're talking about stimulants, you're talking about some kind of amphetamine, in which case, giving yourself some amphetamines, it would give you a burst of short-term energy, but you would, yeah, that would be bad. Although, given the way they act, it does seem like it does kind of act like it. Technically, I believe epinephrine counts as a stim, and you'd be using that primarily to deal with a allergic reaction. But I don't know what you'd actually be doing. Now, the painkillers are interesting because it just says painkillers, but those things are in a prescription bottle. Now, it could be different in Canada, but generally, if you're looking at a prescription bottle of painkillers, you're either looking at a really high dose of something like Tylenol, like 4 or 5 times the regular amount that you normally get from, like, say, 2 capsules that you'd take. Or you're looking at something like oxycodone or something else that's regulated because it's either an opiate or is just as powerful and as addictive as an opiate. But yeah, if you're out on your own and you need a painkiller, that might be what's going on. Now, when I was talking about the guy who missed the airport turnoff, this was the thing he missed seeing. I won't say who, because I'm not trying to call anybody out, but I'm just saying you need to look out for things like signs. And since it's a game, I think part of it is simply it's a game, and you don't pay as much attention. Oh, wolves. Multiple. Always going to be fun.
What have we here?
Yeah, I know you're down there. We're going to try to avoid doing anything with that. Yeah. Honestly, I've watched other people play The Long Dark, and I have to say, most of the time when people die in The Long Dark, unless they're just caught in a death spiral where a couple things have gone wrong, and they're just constantly fighting against oh no, this thing's gone bad, now this thing's gone bad, now this thing's gone bad. Most of the time, the biggest problems are things that are caused by people looking at it enough like a game where there's like, oh, I can push on, oh, I can do that, where, normally speaking, you wouldn't. You just wouldn't if you were, an actual person reacting to what was happening. Oh, look, there's the airport. So we're on my way there now. Oh, wow, it's actually cold enough that I'm feeling it. So, if anybody's watching this and actually wants to know, do you want me to call this as the last episode, or do you want to have another episode or two going through the airport, maybe looking at other things out here in the Forsaken Airfield zone? I already have 2 ideas for what I want to do next. Both kind of tie into the history and reenactment nerd that I am, where I either want to do the city building game going medieval, or the RPG Kingdom Come Deliverance. Both of them are games that sorry about that. I have a weird tickle in the back of my throat. It just doesn't seem to want to go away. But both of those games are ones that I'd like to talk about. Things that work in it, things that don't, things I like. And a comparison. What counts as, oh well, not just realism, but acceptable breaks from realism. I mean, there are a lot of breaks from realism in games. The question is, are they a good break? The dumbing down of things or the simplification of things in games generally to streamline play are good things. There are times when I think that people have streamlined a little too much, or the streamlining kind of leaves you feeling a bit like that's not that realistic. One of the ones that always at the beginning I kind of saw was cardboard boxes, replacement fuse. Right. We'll we might as well go through and do some of this. Interesting. When you go to do these repairs, it actually doesn't use the thing that shows your
Cold is making my head feel thick.
3 replacement fuses. Oh, hey. That's a replacement fuse. That's a wire. Actually, we might have everything I need in here. Replacement fuse, replacement fuse. And wires and a car battery. Repair battery. No, no. No, you're not repairing the battery. You're just replacing it.
All this gear is slowing me down.
Technically, you're just replacing. You're just replacing parts, but that is, honestly, switch on. But now I have the gloves on again. We'll search through here. I want to test something while we're up here. Because technically we're still outside. And I've never seen anybody try to do this, but I haven't seen anybody try to map from the top of the control tower. Now, that's interesting because control towers are generally tall, so that they have a wide field of view, which doesn't seem like it's all that high. Okay, and there's the place where that would go to. Update the transmitter sites. And the handheld shortwave radio. Flare shell, no. So what I'll do here is I'll search downstairs. We'll call it. I think the next episode we'll tour the rest of the airport, see what we can find, and we'll call the series there. I have a couple ideas for games and a couple of other things that I want to do here that I'll be working on in the meantime. I don't need that much. Another flare shell. Paint. I mean, what
Wonder
they use.
if the owner's around.
I mean, it's kind of interesting what they use the paint for in this game, which is actually kind of smart, where you're using spray paint as a trail marking. Now, environmentally speaking, that's probably not the best thing to do. But, you know, in this kind of situation, you probably would still do it. Magnifying lens.
I could use this.
Yeah, you could, or you couldn't. Nope, nothing in the microwave. One thing that I hear a lot of people talk about is sound design, both the music, but also the weather sounds and everything else. I mean, I'm listening to this sound going like, I don't want to go back outside. I mean, I'll open up the door just to look, but
This stuff will come in handy.
no, that thing is too beat up. Yeah, no. I'll lay down, have a little nap. Hopefully it'll have passed enough that I can go to the other buildings, and that's where I'll see you in the next episode. Thank you for coming along. Thank you for coming along with on the journey, and goodbye.